with the Indiana Fever. Today, unfortunately, we have the horrific, terrible news that Sophie Cunningham is officially out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL.
Sophie Cunningham's season came to a devastating halt after a brutal on-court incident left her with a torn MCL. But it wasn't just the injury that had fans buzzing. It was a shocking aftermath that truly lit up the internet.
Hits just keep coming for the Indiana Fever. Not unexpected that Sophie Cunningham ruled out for the season, but devastating nonetheless as the injuries just continue to pile up. So Sidney Colson already out for the season, Ari McDonald out for the season, and now Sophie Cunningham out for the season. That's with Caitlin Clark still out and having been out for much of the season.
Cameras caught Bria Hartley smiling just moments after Cunningham went down. Was it a smirk of satisfaction or just bad timing? Fans erupted with outrage. Meanwhile, the referees let play continue. No review, no flagrant call, and the league has yet to break its silence.
Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not. All they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player, and that's all she did today was show how dirty she is.
This wasn't just another injury. It was the breaking point. And Sophie wasn't about to stay quiet. What she said after has everyone talking. The injury alone was bad enough, but what really set fans off was that grin. The cameras clearly showed Hartley smiling while Sophie lay on the court in agony.
Look, you can tell Bria Hartley, in my opinion, she launched herself into her knee. She did. And I've seen some of the reaction online, and guys, it's despicable. It really is. There's a lot of people celebrating this injury. And guess what? You can imagine who it is. It's members of the old WNBA fandom, the ones that root for Paige Beckers and Angel Reese and Asia Wilson and all the usual damn suspects.
That one snapshot exploded across social media, igniting a storm of outrage. Fans immediately questioned how anyone could smile at a moment like that. Was it nerves, shock, or something far worse? To many, it looked less like concern and more like satisfaction, and that's exactly what fueled the fire online.
Announcing her being out with an MCL tear, which, by the way, the MCL tear, relatively speaking, is good news. It's not an ACL tear. She's not out for like a year or anything, but she's out for the rest of this year. They're going to miss her toughness. They're going to miss her shooting. They're going to miss her playmaking to a degree.
The picture paints a narrative far different from the game itself. In heated moments like these, with emotions boiling over, how could anyone believe this was just coincidence?
Is terrible. You don't want to see anybody go out, especially with an injury. And Sophie Cunningham has been kind of like heartbeat of this team with Caitlin Clark being out. She's like the first player we've actually seen come out and stand up for Caitlin Clark and have her back. So this definitely sucks. And beyond her having Caitlin Clark back, her play on the floor.
The snapshot tells a story the game itself doesn't show. In a moment charged with emotion and intensity, can anyone really?
This has been an injury-riddled season for the team and Sophie Cunningham. You got to remember, she had that ankle injury, which is why she's wearing an ankle brace in the game. She had that at the beginning of the season. She was dealing with an injury. She fought back, came off the bench, got into the start lineup, and she started lighting it up for us. She was knocking down the threes. She was bringing that energy, and us fans wanted her to get more shots. We were upset at the fact that she's standing around wide open for the ball, and she's just not getting the ball on a lot of these possessions.
When Sophie revealed it was an MCL tear, there was at least one small relief. It wasn't an ACL, meaning her career isn't sidelined for a full year. Still, her season is over, and Indiana will feel the loss of her grit, shooting, and playmaking on the court.
And Sophie Cunningham's sister was none too happy about it and slammed the WNBA. Maybe you should focus less on finding players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call consistent games. and protect your athletes. It's pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie. That's Lindsay. That's her sister. Well, her sister made this comment, and it brought out the scumbags.
This was more than just one play. It became a turning point for the Fever. Sophie was a key piece of their success, and with her sidelined, the question became, how would they cope? Her injury wasn't only a physical blow. It highlighted just how vulnerable things get when players aren't fully protected.
Know Bria, and I'm actually really good friends with Bria, and I've been waiting to get on the pod and so we could talk about this because I did want to tweet it out, but I don't think that there was no ill intent. I think it was basketball play. I was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. She fell. Like, there's no way that she would go in there and potentially try to hurt me. And so I have nothing but love for Bria. And I even told my mom because she tweeted something. I was like, no, Mom, I get it, but I promise you that I was like, Bria and I are super cool, and she would never try to hurt me because there are some girls that I think might, but she wouldn't do that. And so I have nothing but love, and so I hope people stop giving Bria some heat because I don't think she meant to do that.
This went beyond a single injury. Fans saw it as part of a bigger, troubling pattern. Reckless plays slipping by while the league stayed silent. The same kind of incidents that led to Sophie's injury have been happening all season, and this one felt like the last straw. Years of frustration boiled over, with many arguing the league had become too soft in its officiating, prioritizing game flow over players' safety. But the question remains, at what cost?
Officially, 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy shit! For this? For the pod? Again?
They didn't like my comments on Paige Beckers.
No way!
I didn't even say anything bad.
On the whistle, on the quick whistle.
Yeah, but why?
The reality was becoming impossible to ignore. The players are the ones paying the price. Sophie refused to stay silent, using her platform to call out the league's lack of accountability. She reminded fans of the time she was fined simply for speaking up about officiating, underscoring just how deep the problem runs.
Well, you come at Sophie's sister, you come at Sophie. And Sophie saw this comment, and bless her heart, she answered it. She answered it. Some of us were raised by the words of, quote, don't bite off more than you can chew. And some of us didn't. Quote, F around and find out. F around and find out. Kiss. God bless this woman. Yeah, seriously. She's great.
For Sophie's family, the issue went far beyond the injury. It was about the league's misplaced priorities. Players get punished for speaking their truth, yet the league fails to protect them where it matters most, on the court. That frustration came through loud and clear in Sophie's words. She didn't just call out Hartley, she called out the entire system.
That's hilarious. This hater out there, and there's a lot of them right now. I said yesterday, you're mad because Sophie's being called a superstar and this and that and the other. Yeah, Sophie's got more pull than your Asia Wilson. I mean, Asia's on this monumental run. I literally wouldn't have known that if I hadn't stumbled across somebody that said, well, the WNBA is making Asia Wilson's late season MVP push. Sometimes, you just got to pay attention. The WNBA wants to protect certain people and certain players. And yet,
then came the line that set everything off. Asterisk F around and find out. Asterisk short, sharp, and unapologetic. It was a direct message to anyone who thought she was done. Pure fire.
But this action right here, there's a lot happening. Yeah. A lot happening. Grab my shirt. I'm on the ground. Gina Charles gets it. She didn't hit the court though. She out of bounds. Ariel Atkins says some words to Bria, and she says she grabbed me first.
Sophie wasn't just standing up for herself. She was challenging everyone to rise and fight. This wasn't the calm, reserved Sophie people we're used to. This was a Sophie who refused to back down. Fans ate it up, and her words instantly turned into a rallying cry. It wasn't just defiance, it was a declaration of battle.
Atkins, 7 to shoot. Cardoso rolls, catch. Cardoso over the top, can't get it. Reese fights with a rebound and a foul, and this time gets a little chippy and a shove on Nelson Adota. And listen, this arena, typically we'll see some ringside fights, and Charles this time tried to fight through.
Sophie had shifted from victim to fighter, and fans were all in on her fire. But for the Fever, reality hit hard. With Sophie sidelined and Caitlin Clark already out, the challenge ahead was daunting. Their gritty comeback against the Connecticut Sun proved their resilience. But the lingering question remains, can this season still be salvaged?
Cunningham, Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here. Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty player.
Sophie was one of the Fever's top players, and losing her leaves a huge void. But their game against the Sun was about more than just the scoreboard. It was a statement. The Fever showed they're more than just Sophie Cunningham, with other players stepping up to carry the load. The question is, can they truly match the energy and impact she brought to the floor?
It was saved against the Connecticut Sun, but can it be salvaged, I guess is the question here, because Sophie Cunningham was one of the better players for the Fever all year. She is going to be tough to replace, even if the rest of the squad can get to full strength. But as they battled, as they continued to fight, to me, you don't punt on the season, because you don't know how many chances you get, and you have to reward that grit. The question, this goes back to, again, when is Caitlin Clark going to be back? There remains no clarity on that topic.
Despite the setback, Coach Stephanie White expressed pride in her team, praising their toughness, something that can't be coached. But beneath that praise was a harsh reality. Sophie's injury highlighted yet again the league's failure to properly protect its players. White's words reflected the team's heart, but she also knew the challenge ahead. Without Sophie, the journey would be much tougher, and the players would have to dig deep to make up for the loss of their fiercest competitor.
Kelsey Mitchell! Every game is a home game! Listen to the crowd in Connecticut! Final score in overtime! Fever 99, Sun 93! And Indiana completes the greatest comeback in franchise history!
Sophie's injury exposed a deeper problem within the league. For years, both players and fans had demanded stricter enforcement of safety rules. Too many dangerous plays were being overlooked by referees, and the toll was evident. Athletes risking their careers with every game.
Kelsey Mitchell has a new career high! Backdoor Mitchell bouncing in the paint for two. Kelsey Mitchell, the big is snatched up. Mitchell squeezing through for two in the fall. Falls on the other end. It's Mitchell launching it.
This wasn't a single, isolated incident. It was part of a recurring pattern. The league had the authority to make changes, but the real question was, would they? How many more injuries would it take before action was finally taken? Fans began demanding answers, leaving the league with no place to hide.
It's another double-double for Aaliyah Boston. Boston will fire a three, and it's in. Boston the putback, plus the foul. Look at Boston just muscle her way into Charles and lay it in. Boston deep position. Boston pretty spin. Back to Boston. Who ties the game?
Boston now with her 15th double-double of the year. That's a new Fever franchise record.
Fans weren't just upset about Sophie's injury. They were furious at feeling ignored. This wasn't the first time dangerous plays had gone unchecked, leading to preventable injuries. The frustration had been building for years, and it boiled over this time. Their anger wasn't just directed at Hartley or the referees. It was aimed at the entire league. This incident wasn't just about one player's injury. It was about the fundamental need for players' safety and accountability.
Shot clock down to 6 for the Fever. Turner, up fake. Turner kicks it. Hole three-pointer. Bottom!
What Sophie did next was truly inspiring. She transformed a devastating situation into a symbol of resilience, becoming the voice for those who felt ignored and the champion for players who had been neglected. Her message wasn't just about herself. It was about every athlete put in harm's way. Her words echoed far beyond her own injury, connecting with anyone who had ever felt overlooked or dismissed. In that moment, Sophie Cunningham proved she wasn't just an athlete. She was a leader.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just words when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you. It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
After the injury, Sophie's family and supporters pushed for change, and they refused to back down. They demanded an independent review of the officiating and clearer safety standards across the league. This wasn't just about Sophie. It was about protecting the future of the game and every player on the court. For the first time in years, the pressure on the league was impossible to ignore. Fans weren't just voicing complaints. They were demanding real action. And the longer the league delayed, the louder that call grew.